So.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and call the meeting to order today. We'll start with the invocation and Joe, would you do it for us today? Thank you. Please stay standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Y'all bow your heads, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you today for the opportunities to get together and work together for the betterment of this community. Lord, we thank you for the rain that has fallen on parts of the state. Hopefully we get some rain down in South Georgia to help those cities and counties that are struggling so hard against this fire. Lord, and keep all those people responding and serving safe. Lord, allow this council to listen and make wise decisions and recommendations on the behalf of this community. Bless all of us in our endeavors and give us safe travel back to the next destinations after the conclusion of this meeting. All this we ask in your son's precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, roll call. Everyone is here. Council, thank you for being here. We're going to go on to agenda approval, but before we do, I wanted to make everybody aware. Under new business, number 1, Stephanie Francis, community art proposal. She contacted the city this morning and was not able to be here, so we'll put that on another agenda in the very near future. She had a personal reason. So we'll be taking off new business number 1. Okay, with that being said, is there anybody who would like to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of new business, item 1, discussion for community art proposal.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. So under old business, we have compensation of Walnut Grove elected officials.
So I did leave this on the agenda for this work session, that way the full council has a chance to discuss and debate the merits of another compensation increase. I think it would be important going forward if this gains more and more momentum that happens on the agenda going forward until a vote. Just for some clarity, and sorry, I did not print this out. I was looking this morning. There was some questions regarding when this would go into effect, if voted on before the next qualifying period. The Attorney General has indicated in the past that as presently constituted, this section will allow a salary increase to become effective for the entire council after the taking of office of only a portion of council. So after an election is kind of how that was interpreted by an Attorney General of the state of Georgia.
Okay.
There are other limitations about advertising, but those things we can get to as this progresses on. I wanted to give council an opportunity.
Thank you. Has there been any other information that anybody would like to share, or since I wasn't here during that meeting, do people want to hear from me?
I sent out an email to all council with what we discussed at the last work session about this. Just to let them know what I found with information, what I was looking at, and that sort of thing. When I made my proposal, because I made a proposal, but obviously we need full support of the entire council. And make the best decision possible for us, and what my justifications were for those that proposal.
I believe the board split, council split in their beliefs of everything.
Right.
Okay. Has there been any other research or any other why we should or why we shouldn't?
Not really at this point. I'm still looking at some things. I did have a question. Isn't there something, Jay, you may be the one to answer this, about if you're actually during an election season, you can't take that.
The cutoff is qualification.
Okay,
Yeah, you can't do it during qualification.
okay,
And I think it needs even some time before qualification, but y'all are in a time.
right.
Anything else? Okay. I guess we'll go ahead and leave this on the agenda.
I'll make a motion to table it into the next work session.
I would like to add one thing.
Okay.
Part of the proposal from last work session was a base rate, then plus reimbursement of events and things of that nature. So, I did speak with Jay about that, and he had a couple of opinions I'd like for you to share.
So when it got brought up, honestly, I'd never heard of a city doing that sort of payment package. My hesitation was that it seems easily manipulated and could, not that anybody in this room would, but could be used poorly. There are cities that have similar things. Cities do, if there's an extra meeting during the month, especially a call meeting, there's a little bump in compensation, additional training and stuff. These are all pre-approved things by the council. So, once signed up or attended, other council members would have to sign off. So there are ways to do it. I would just, if it's not specifically spelled out, it just gives attorneys a little. So,
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I believe with that particular situation, the perception of it itself gives me pause to question it, because to me, it looks like a gift. You're accepting a gift. But I think we need to talk about that a lot before we even consider it.
So there is a motion on the table to table the discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. Okay, the discussion next is the appeal of a license denial and caravan beer processing. I didn't see what you're.
We have one more piece of business.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Proposed ordinance regulating tobacco, vape, and hemp retailers. That's the next thing. Sorry.
So as I combined this ordinance, I learned a lesson. And we will see it again a little later on. I have a knack of doing what many public officials do, is utilizing a template and not deleting it. So this one has been revised to remove stuff from a previous ordinance, so it should be good in that aspect. So this was talked about in our last work session, establishing regulations for the sale of age-restricted products such as hemp, tobacco, and psychedelic, quasi-psychedelic items, things of that nature. So what happened here was we had 3 separate ordinances, and we saw the need to either combine some items or remove some items. So everything that had a zoning action attached to it was taken out, and those are going to be a part of the zoning ordinance in the future. So we'll put those inside of that. If you look down, all this will fit under chapter 26, licenses, taxation, and miscellaneous business regulations. So article 1 and 2 is the general application, how to apply for a business license. We're going to reserve article 3 for regulated businesses, and this will go to article 4. And then if you look through it, we do have the definitions, but I want to point your attention to application requirements on page 2. Just like any other business, we'll need a name, address, business owner and operator, business location, zoning district, description of products to be sold. That's going to be a very key aspect to this. It will have what they intend to sell. If it's not listed on there, we cannot verify it, and that would be a reason for revocation of law. Proof of compliance with state and federal laws, licensing and permitting. Proof of compliance with Department of Agriculture inspections and licensing if applicable. And then payment of applicable regulatory fees established by the city and published in our fee schedule. Then for operational requirements, some of the new things or one thing we're just echoing from state law is signage. There has to be signs at any entrance location and at the register of sale. Age-related items prohibited under 21, so whatever that item is. Retailers have to verify customer age. This was one of the recommendations from the proposed ordinances, utilizing scanning technology or similar electronic verification methods. Businesses must maintain security cameras at all entrances and monitor the retail sales area, and the recordings shall be maintained for at least 30 days. And then all regulated products shall be stored behind the counter or in a controlled access display. I also want to point out inspections on the same page of page 3. Authorized city officials and law enforcement officers may conduct reasonable inspections of licensed premises to ensure compliance with this ordinance.
Thank you. I got a question about section 2668, operational requirements. All regulated products shall be stored behind the counter or in controlled access displays. Thought we were discussing before that they were not supposed to be see-through, so,
The DOA,
yeah.
that wasn't in the ordinances for the combined code. That can still be an item of discussion.
Well, that's what, I mean, I think that was a place.
Did that-
Conversation.
Did that need to be a separate ordinance, though? And that was my question, because we talked about it as a separate ordinance. And then,
This is supposed to be the three combined, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it does not need to be a separate ordinance. If that's something council wishes and fits the bill legally, then that's something that could be. in this ordinance.
Because right now they're in controlled access displays. They're still see-through.
Yeah.
Visible see-through, right? But that's something that has to, if it can be changed. Yes. Right. And then, inspections, authorized city officials. I think we need to clarify the authorized city officials. Is it code enforcement? Is it city administrator? Who is that?
Well, that could be anything we define it as, so we can definitely define that. I would say leaving it into the Department of Code Enforcement, whoever that
I agree.
is. Because you don't want a conflict of interest if I go and inspect, and then I'm also the one saying yes or no to it.
No, it needs to be, yeah.
Okay, question. If we put it under code enforcement specifically, let's suppose for some reason we see a major violation, code enforcement is either gone for a couple of weeks or maybe we don't have one again. Does it fall to whoever would be in charge of code enforcement in it, such as yourself?
Right, so I think we can still find a secondary to that, where it's not the decision of a person revoking it. Just that way, if you just want to prevent those conflicts.
If there's something that then we contact the sheriff's office.
Right.
And ask them to come in.
If we're making a violation, then it's like, we're seeing that teenage kids are going and buying things.
So we'll make those couple little changes and put it on the next, on the city council.
Is it council's intent for this to be a one for all type license? So gas station wants to sell tobacco, they also sell the other products.
If they want to.
Yeah.
Then they would have to follow this.
Okay, but what if they want to sell, I guess that's my question. If they want to just sell cigarettes,
Mhm.
Do they come in and get this license, and by getting this license, then they sell the other stuff?
Like we're encouraging more.
well, I think we eliminated that and it's on page. Yeah, on page 2, where you have to, item C, description of products to be sold. So if they sell, if they originally put in this application for just tobacco products and then decide later to carry something else, they would need to come and inform the city or whatever. If they don't, then we can say, hey, please amend your products you're carrying.
We can make that some stronger verbiage. though.
Yeah,
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know. I don't necessarily know if you all have a problem with gas stations selling cigarettes and dip and tobacco products. And so I just don't I don't want it to be confusing if they come in for that and it's all under one ordinance that they can sell the other stuff as well.
Because most gas stations sell the tobacco vapes.
Yeah.
Right.
and they also sell the other things like kratom and, you know, whatever is legal, because they're vendors that they come in and purchase from. They're selling that stuff to them, so. Yeah.
I'm still not clear on what if somebody just wants to do tobacco? Do they have to fill this out?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
And what Jay's saying is, if the verbiage or the separation, because you don't want to be confused.
Yeah.
Is I can go in and get this license and then say 6 months later, I see store next door is making so much money off your products. And I think because I have this license, I can just do that. So we just need some stronger verbiage delineating that. How to sell those products.
Could that come under the form of the application of what you intend to sell, and
Right.
anything you don't put on there then would be eliminated from the ability to sell without coming back to it?
And then the license that you issue specifically tells them what they can sell. So if they're applying for tobacco, they get tobacco.
Right.
Yeah, it's just when you put it all under one ordinance, someone may come in and apply, get it for tobacco, but think they can sell stuff as well.
Well, and if they're getting it for tobacco and it names all these other things, they may go ahead and list those other things just to be in compliance later on.
And then they come to you all and maybe y'all are okay with just tobacco and not the other stuff, but then you're denying the license because they put
Right.
the other stuff.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, let's clarify that. So then,
What do we need to have a separate? Like, how do we do that?
Can we do it this way by just eliminating a description of the products to be sold and say this is your blanket for being able to sell X, Y, and Z? But nothing more, or should we just?
Do you all want that? Do you
I
all
know.
want it all or nothing?
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, that's
I don't think we really do.
it's just a little bit of verbiage. It's really not going to be difficult to flesh out. It's just a matter of separating those things and then outlining the process of if they're mutually exclusive things.
Gotcha.
except for me, like I do, wrapping papers. I don't know what to call these days. But people sell it for tobacco, but they sell it for other things as well. I mean, that-
Those are a little bit tougher to regulate because they're paraphernalia can be tricky.
And that's where I was thinking in terms of, you know, the different paraphernalias, do we need to be a little more specific or not?
I recommend not getting into paraphernalia just because there's so much. We just don't have the ability to fully regulate that. I don't even think the state regulates paraphernalia. That would be very trivial, just because it doesn't have substance. It's just, it could just be paper or it could just be a glass bowl of something.
I have been told that they could sell apples, and that would be paraphernalia too. Apples. Apples. I mean, I'm,
Yeah, seriously.
All the trade.
so, I mean, it just needs to, yeah, so I think going in too deep on that, we'd be getting somewhere we don't want to be.
So for clarity, we're gonna revise this section with the products to be sold, separating out the verbiage for the correct applications for whatever type of product we're trying to sell. And we're going to talk about fixing part D to reflect the official our thing about having it not see through and opaque displays, right?
Right.
And then we'll see this on our next council meeting to go.
And I will send a letter out to current retailers that do this. That way they can have a chance to come in and speak. If they would.
And we have these revised things sooner rather than later, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't see how it's possible it's in a different QA, so I would just like lots of time to think about it before we take a vote on it. Not because I disagree, I just don't want somebody to go get a license for tobacco and feel like they have to, it's an all or nothing thing, and then their license gets denied because they're not, because of the, psychoactive substances that they might apply for.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna put this on the next. On the council meeting, okay. Now we're going to go on to. Field license denial and fair penalty. Let's get from you first.
Hello.
Hello.
Most of what I'm going to speak of is on the memorandum that I sent on denial. But to begin, I just wanted to talk about some things that came up in the last work session and through some conversations. To begin, when I first came on board here, this license was denied prior. I came in, heard the reasons for denial, that it didn't fit our zoning ordinance and things. We're having many conversations with the business owner. The goal was not to just say no, to see if it was viable. That's what we did. Everyone in this room was a part of that. We created a use inside of our zoning ordinance to allow recreational game processing, but it still had to fit within our home-based business license. So inside of that use, we did find a way for this business to reestablish, conduct its business, and then carry on. With the understanding that the same laws still apply when it comes to business itself. Then going through, so we'll just start with the first note down here. Imminent deer processing as an established business must be measured to the standards before the February amendment to our home occupation for their transgressions for the last year's business license. Part of that home occupation was an affidavit that required to be signed, and it was signed on the 29th of May, 2025. This affidavit states signs identifying the home occupation are prohibited. There are numerous pictures inside of your packets, and we did send clear pictures out through email just because it didn't fit well. These signs are right of ways on a easement road with the neighbor. And this is something that we had many conversations about as well. So our method of code enforcement isn't just to go and cite everyone instantly. It's conversation first, see if we can correct it. If not, if there's no compliance, then you start the violations. And that's kind of what happened here. As we continued on, there was a formal warning on the 24th of February 2025 and a citation issued on December 9th, 2025. At the time, the city did not pursue revocation of the business license, as simply removing the signs after formal notice would have been enough, as long as they remained in compliance. However, this escalated to municipal court, and the business became defiant in that compliance. Further, under the prior to the amendment, there were no employees allowed in general, unless they lived in the household or was a direct family member of the business owner. Now that's loosened a little bit, but it would still be the same, as this is not a dispatch business. So it's still formally at the home. We do have proof in here from next door that a camper was for rent for the purposes of having somebody there to work the business. Somebody was identified prior that did work there. So we do have proof that there were employees. Then further, there are pictures in there of improper disposal of a deer carcass being left outside, and that presented a safety hazard as well. So all these things were presented in this report. As was stated in the last work session, it was claimed that these things were quote unquote thrown out. The way this report works is the solicitor has a conversation with the offender. And what usually happens is a deal is made. So most of these things did not even come to the judge. So nothing was thrown out, a deal was made with the solicitor. Nothing was ever disproven or proven formally through a judge, with the exception of signs. Part of this process is administratively, the power to deny, and now it's up to council to review all of these facts and hear from both sides here, and then, make a determination for the next motion. We did have our code enforcement officer here, just in case the council wanted to ask any questions.
I actually have a question for you. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry. This type of business, it's my understanding you've got to have like a state licensure to be able to do beer processing for others.
To a degree,
Okay,
it is very, as me and Jay talked about this as well, the
not really.
state tries to be lenient towards quasi agricultural recreation, right?
Got it.
The only thing that the state does regulate is making sure the cooler is able to be served.
Okay.
And with that, I do believe he still is in compliance with itself.
And is there a reason why he requires this license from the city to do this?
I'll let Jay answer that question. There a formal reason?
No, it's not. Thank you. It's because he would like to be on the registry for the state.
Okay.
Just having a beer processing plant or whatever you want to call it. Anybody can have that and anybody can make money doing that. It's not regulated. So even if you're not on the state registry as a deer processor, you are still allowed to process meats as long as you're following all of the rules of the,
That's what I thought. That's what I just wanted to confirm.
so it's required in order for someone to make money.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions at this moment? No. Mr. Mamoon, would you like to say anything
Yes.
new that you have not already shared with council? Is there anything new you would like to bring to light?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything from what I've been sued for did not be presented to the judge, even he has question about this.
Hold on 1 minute. Everything that you were sued for? Who sued?
You give me citation.
Okay, that's not suing.
Okay. Excuse my language, I'm trying to.
Well, that's why I stopped you. I want to make sure we are all very clear from this point.
And I would like to, you know, because this is like, give me question, give you an answer, give me question, give me answers. I have some answers to major questions as I have been giving those citations. And I would like to say, and maybe I have to say it again, people forget, people, you know. Okay, number one, I am agriculture.
Mr. Mamu, you've already gone over this.
No, I didn't go in detail, I'm sorry, because,
You specifically stated that you were agriculture and you talked about,
yes, I didn't go in details, yeah. And something else, what this gentleman just said is being denied, not before this new mayor came in. Before the old mayor was here, everything was fine. I never been cited, I never been taken off the denied, until the new mayor showed.
Mr. Mamu, just a minute, we're gonna have,
Just, I was gonna say, just let him say his piece.
go ahead.
Okay, until the new mayor comes in. Then after that, it's been denied 2-3 times. If it's before I can go any further with this case, I have to get either your approval or disapproval before I go further with this case. I ask every question you answer me, I answer truthfully and honest to God, I didn't miss anybody as long as in the books, that's what it matters. As per inspections, that's very important for me to say. I am licensed by the state. It's not only the cooler. Whoever have the information, need to have more information about that. They inspect everything, period. And to write that letter, I have some health issue toward people. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the health, some chemicals or something like that in the, for the ground or something like that. Nothing, I'm doing with beer processing, that's it. I'm not doing anything, no car, nothing else with that. That's all I'm doing. I came in front of you, you gave it to me. After 4 years, shut down. All the money I inspect, you're smart. I'm not trying to bother anybody. You study that, you read that. After you just said, is it regulated? I am not gonna allow anybody in my property. It's not safe until if you're regulated by the state, which is higher than city, okay? To inspect me, I am not open to the public. I am private. Make a huge difference. Nobody from the streets can come in and walk. As far as the sign, it was approved by my neighbor. She's 90 years old. So nobody can walk. First of all, you cannot see it from 138. You cannot see the sign from 138. I'm talking about the sign. I have a picture of it. It's showing an arrow, which nobody comes to her house as long as they had this deep processing. It was her concern. How about people coming here? They, you know, I put a little sign and it's been removed whenever the season is done, it's removed, nobody comes in. Nobody, not even once, knocked on her door. So, please, I'm begging you, asking me any question that's, I don't want to come back again, this is denied for something really ridiculous. Read the law before you give me the citation. Okay, read the zoning, what kind of zoning you are. That's because what I understood, I am agriculture, I am not residential. The home occupation goes under a home occupation, not agriculture. Agriculture can do whatever they want. No, there's a limit here. Okay, so I follow those limits. The way to throw like carcasses, we do this all the time. Okay, read what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do, how to dispose stuff. I don't say just your words, show me some documents. This is a legal document. We saw this. How did you get this? How did you observe it? Do you have the right to do this? Do you have the right to take it? Do you have the right to enter the promise to anybody? Do you have the right to then this is admissible? If you're allowed to do to anybody, can anybody have that to you too? I am not home occupation. That business is not under home occupation, under farming. Please, I'm asking you again, please. All my business is 3 months. That's all it is. You may have some people disagree with me about the way I do things, the way project, but that's not denying a business. Completely denial. Even the judge has a question. He said, Mr. Mahmoud, pay this fine for the sign and go get your license here to work. And just what I did. When I came in, I found the memorandum after 2 months. I went to get it. No, you're not there.
Okay, we're starting to go over everything that we went over last time, Mr. Mamu. Is there anything else new? Or does any council have
If
any?
you're gonna stop everything, like, I wanna know what denying.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Why do you care to have a city business license for your beer processing business? What is the purpose of you having the city business license?
For me, as a person, as a human being, as anyway, you have to be qualified to do an inspection. You have to be qualified
I'm
to.
asking that question. I'm asking, why do you
Yes,
care if the city approves your business license or not?
Because it's not required.
okay, since it's not required,
Right.
because I want to take this to city if it's been denied, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go to Attorney General, the state of Georgia.
Mr.
So that's not the question.
I don't think you're understanding. You don't have to have a city business license in order to process beer. Why is it that your end goal is to receive a city business license, which causes us to then regulate your business because that is our job, is to
In this
be a business license holder.
In this case, you solve my problem. In this case, you solve my problem. I'm gonna operate, and that's it. Because if you said you're allowed to do that,
Mr. Mahmood, I had that conversation when I first came on board with Craig Ellington. We told you that. We asked you, why do you want a license? We told you, you don't have to have a license to be a deer
oh,
hunter.
because I was in other cities, I checked with them, they said to be good with the city, and it's good advertising to have that, you know what I'm saying, you have a license.
Mr. Mahmood, I've sat with our code enforcement officer, with Mr. Ellington,
I
with
remember
Mr.
that
Morris,
discussion.
on all of these discussions about how you are not required to have a business license. And at this point now, if you're understanding that, that's good. But that's about 2.5 years of our time and effort trying to get you to understand that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, sir, we
You
did.
told me that you're not allowed to do the taxidermy as a hobby. The hobby doesn't exist. You told me exactly that grandfather doesn't exist. The other mayor was doing everything wrong, batching the other mayor in my section. You were not, I was at the office.
I've been in these conversations and what was said was that the previous mayor should not have given you a business license.
After they signed for us, or
I'm telling you, when I came into office, a lot of things changed up there, okay? We did things by the book. Previously, previous administrations may have given a business license, and that was their doing. We cannot be held accountable for what they did. When I came in, I said we were going to do things by the book, and I sat down with you on several occasions with Mr. Ellington, with Greg, with Mr. Morris, and we said, you do not have to have a business license, Mr. Mahmood. You can open up your processing without a business license. And you kept on insisting, and that's what has taken up all of this time. We gave you the opportunity to just open up. Anybody can do it.
Why did you sign, you signed the revoke the state license, you revoked that is denied. Why did you revoke that?
I didn't revoke a state license.
Mr. Mom.
Yes, you did. I have.
They do not have the authority, I don't care what they wrote on a state.
She signed. I respect her. Her position is very powerful.
I like the mayor too.
Yes.
She can't revoke a state license. She
Well,
does
that's-
not have that power.
No.
Sorry, Mayor.
That's okay. I don't have that power. I have never
No,
stated,
you said you have all the power. How do you give it?
no, sir, I've never.
Show me the document you signed. This is an original. This is an original and you signed it.
So to be clear,
This man.
Was it a
you're not
denial?
here to have a city business license. Is that what I'm hearing? That it doesn't,
I was
I
trying.
asked the question as to why you wanted a city business license. What I'm hearing you say is now that you know it is not required, you do not care to have a city business license. Is that correct?
Yes. that's-
Okay.
No.
Can we go ahead and make a motion?
It's not a voting.
No, Judge. But there's no point in continuing this conversation is what I'm hearing.
You will still have to do a formal vote though.
Okay.
Can I say one question, please? If this states can inspect me, why city has to come in? Unless they give me notice, that's all, I didn't say don't come. Give me notice, it's fine, it's in the books. They have to give you notice to open the gates and come in.
Well, that's because you applied for a home-based business license, so then the city does have to inspect you, but you don't need that. That was your choice to
Thank you so
apply for
much.
that.
Thank you, you really fixed my problem. You really fixed my problem. But I was stopped by talking to you and I'm glad you cleaned up this thing. But I still respect the old mayor. I mean, some stuff can be done, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But when you, okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll put this on the next, the council meeting. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Assets recommended for asset disposal.
Hello. So this memorandum is a list of assets recommended for disposal. That means auctioning off, just in case, it's not formally trash. As you go through, you'll find, many of these have become lawn ones. We have a 1992 Ford F-650 dump truck, 1994 Ford F-350 bucket truck, a long tractor, a 1964 International dump truck, that was behind the old Public Works building, if you've never seen it. I discovered that about 6 months in. 1993 Ford F-350 panel truck, 2007 Ford Ranger, a 5-foot bush hog located at the sewer plant with no identifiable markings. Another farm track tractor, and this one was brought to my attention that still may be useful, wood chipper. I was told that in the past, the city did conduct a Christmas tree chopping event. And so that may be something council is still interested.
And Public Works used it not too long ago. I don't remember exactly how long, but they were trimming up limbs for the city. And they used it to trim up the limbs as they went through this, as they did the job. So I'm just saying it might still be good, but don't take it on my word. Check that with our new guy, please.
Joe, is the Ford truck behind Public Works on this list, or are we keeping that off this list?
Are you talking about the?
The
Ranger.
Ford truck, no, the original Public Works vehicle.
No, that is not on the list. So that would be a 1973. There's some intention that some of these funds may be able to be used to bring that back to life for private plans.
Okay, so you'll check on that wood chipper before the next meeting, and then we'll go ahead and go on for this.
Absolutely.
I have a question. I think we're looking at maybe an additional new truck coming up.
Yeah.
Are we more likely to get better selling in this way for some of these trucks, or as like the Ranger as a trade-in?
Trade-ins are almost always negative equity.
Okay,
In 2007 Ford Ranger with around 1,000 miles.
so we won't get much of
The
auction.
most they would do is say, yeah, the price will change.
Okay.
And the goal of all this is, this will be a future thing you see more and more often, is as things reach their peak of use and value together, asset amount, you still retain equity instead of having negative equity or having to retain it for 30 years to get full value out of it. So that's kind of what was done here. Some of these were probably purchased used already, which is nothing wrong with that in general. It's just you don't retain equity later down the road, try to asset them out for newer, safer products.
When these assets are sold, what account do these funds go in?
So this would go into our general fund initially. Usually it's a kind of a surplus. Like you would hope to be a surplus with a balanced budget. And then they can be used for capital improvement projects. So whatever we see from these can be utilized in the budget. Say, if we had done this at the beginning of the budget cycle, we knew roughly how much we would get out of it, you can have a line item dedicated to, actually, there is one property or asset disposal.
And the plan is to use the funds for purchasing new
Right.
vehicles or that type of thing.
So going back to what their usefulness was. So in this case, I know, Public Works, they do need a new vehicle. So that's the range we're recurring.
One more question about the wood chipper. Sorry, I was like super excited when you were talking about previous events where we chopped up Christmas trees and then used them to do limbs when they were running around the city. Can we make sure before we leave that on this list that it's not something we can use? Because I think that would make a fantastic after Christmas event for us that we can
Absolutely.
man that and show some pride in the community and go towards our, recycling efforts and go green in the roads.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And, free mulch, maybe, from the mulch that gets made from it, people can show up to their wheelbarrows and take it back to their house or something. Just a thought, sorry.
So you'll check on the wood chipper and we'll put it on the meeting agenda for next meeting. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. The application,
And 14th is our next meeting, right?
for what? The votes.
Next cycle, council meeting.
Yes.
Council meeting, yeah, May 14th. All right, just making sure. Okay. We had one application to the planning and zoning committee. Joe, you've met him, right?
I have.
Yeah.
So we did have an application for planning and zoning committee from Mr. Colin Lloyd. He's a resident of, the onsite, Dow Farm area. He's actually the HOA resident over there. So we met on a couple occasions, and it was a quasi recruitment. He seemed very civic minded, so I asked him if he'd be interested. Then we sent out the applications to put them online, put a notice out that we are seeking this position. So far, he's the only one to apply for a position that's vacant. But yeah, I'll kind of cover some of the stuff in his application and in his resume for council to consider. So currently, he is a senior client onboarding specialist and works in the financial technology industry, which all of that is like math to me. So
Your eyes did that.
yeah, you want to see me do like stairs? Give me some difficult math. But if you go through community leadership and governance, he currently serves as the HOA president for his community. In that role, he is responsible for interpreting and applying community bylaws and overseeing the architectural review requests and facilitating board meetings. He's also their first HOA president, so there's really no training to that. He's learning it on the fly. So I feel for him on that. Professional stakeholder management, he implements complex systems and navigates regulatory structures. That sounds like a LinkedIn post, but that's in there. He's a formal educator. He has been a part of local initiatives. And then he also has in here why he wants to serve. He's interested in serving because he puts here claims cares deeply about how communities grow and develop in a way that's both thoughtful and sustainable. And I do think that aligns well with the permanent council and what I've heard in the past. And then I think it does help balance perspective. Dow Farm is a newer community of ours, and so far we do not have any representation from the Dow Farm community into any of our council, or it wasn't even been able to run for like not sit at that point. But in any of our committees, he is. So he would be, if approved, the first out of that section of the city to be on the committee.
Is there anything else you might come to the next council meeting?
He was hoping to come to this one. And it looks like he didn't get a chance to make it, but I will try to get him to come so we can meet him in person before voting.
I have a question. In the past, a candidate like this has gone to that committee first and then they present. Are we doing that differently now?
So, board was already, the current members were already there when I came here. So as far as outside of the ordinances, I'm not too sure what was done, but that, I'm sure that was it. All authority is by council. Now, if you would like planning and zoning to have a piece of that, we can definitely make that for them to consider as well and give their recommendation.
You all have, that's right, you have absolute power to appoint people to your boards. Specifically, planning commission is important that you all have that authority on. I'm assuming what was done in the past was probably a customary to introduce and see if they were on the board, but.
What's happened in the past is that planning and zoning brought us people or brought people to council and said, we'd like to put this person on planning and
Yeah,
zoning. We all approve it.
y'all use them as the finders. But ultimately, it's you all's vote, so it doesn't have to go through that.
Okay. Could we go ahead and share this resume with the people from P and Z and ask them if there's any, concerns or anything like that, but if it's council's decision to do it.
And look,
At least
we're gonna try to have it at the next meeting and.
if they'd like to come,
Should bring the award for the dog beauty pageant.
yeah.
That was our P and Z chair.
Yeah, so if we just get it out to them before, like by the. Before the next meeting, give them the option and the courtesy to review his resume. Yeah, invite them to come to the meeting and see if we can.
Absolutely.
All right, okay. We'll go ahead and put this on for the next meeting. It's all a candidate. Glad he's interested. Okay, the next is a resolution. Joey,
I've got another meeting at the
Okay.
LAS site, so if you don't mind.
please go.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Resolution to support the speed reduction efforts. Joe, I'll let you come on the rest of us.
Hello. As I said before in this meeting, I learned a lesson. And if you look at the last whereas, that's talking about speed. So I will remove that. And I apologize that that retained minutes. So this resolution is regarding our speed reduction efforts within Science City limits and the goal of having a city where all speed limits are at 35 or below. I put in here that city government is responsible for the safety and welfare for its citizens, and yes, and that includes those on the roadways. So there's many guests that outnumber our current citizens. That way we can support them as they travel along as well. We have requested assistance through Walton County, and they have shown to offer their assistance and have a deep interest in this goal as well. Walton County has already begun the process to reduce speeds with the Georgia Department of Transportation. They do need our full recognition of that effort and our support here in town. That's what this resolution accomplishes. We'll support this resolution.
Add to the next council meeting or vote, please. Yes. Thank you, Joe. Next one is the proclamation, which we can approve today, can't we? Do we have to approve that at the next meeting? Proclamation, I can just sign.
Yeah.
Hello.
If you wanted to read it, the formal meeting.
I will.
Yeah.
So this proclamation recognizes the 57th annual Professional Municipal Clerk Week. Professional Municipal Clerks Week. There's a couple highlights in here that I thought were interesting. One, they exist throughout the world. I think we knew that, but they are also the oldest among public servants. So scribes, and clerks, a little bit of history knowledge. So, and the thing that I find probably the most consequential of a clerk's job, they are the link between citizens and local government bodies and agencies of the government at other levels. But probably the most important is their neutrality and partiality. So they conduct their job without judgment or political say. They just conduct it, get the information out to the citizen, and allow the government body to decide without putting their say into it. That is probably the most important function of our democratic process of local government. This week will be recognized from May 3rd through the 9th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week. And we extend our appreciation to our professional municipal clerks, Lane Hurt and Sonia Cox, and to all professional clerks for their vital service that they perform with exemplary dedication to community service.
So I'll be signing that proclamation today to make sure that we are having it established before the May 3rd. remain 9.
And I will force mine to take it.
Okay.
You will what? Force them to take a picture.
Basically, put it on Facebook.
That's right. Put it on Facebook. All right.
Thanks, Joe. And the next thing is the fee schedule, sanitation late fee.
No. So as we change things in the fee schedule, you'll notice every time we give the only fee schedule. That's because it is one document together. So what I've begun doing, and it did not work out in here, I tried highlighting it, and I guess we didn't switch the printer color. That's my fault. But if you go to residential sanitation, inside of it, there is a late fee and a service interruption fee. So the late fee that we are recommending is 10% of the fee due, and that is from what I see as the standard through a lot of municipalities and private organizations. I do know there's a max set by the state. I have no trouble finding that max, but it seems like we will be in state funds at this level. Service interruption fee, very few cities have this, and I guess it's usually put on through their contracted vendors. But the ones that I did find were at $20, and it was just a standard that I kept seeing. And I think that is a fair amount. And the way those would work together is that if someone's past due and then they pay that 10% fee, but say they're past due and then they don't pay that fee in the next billing cycle as well, that's when they would have a service interruption and they have to pay those fees.
I have a question. Somebody sells their house in the middle of the quarter. We're literally talking about $20. But you'd be surprised. And
$10 is $10.
so if, my question is, if somebody is moving out of a house at the end of May and, can they pay $40 towards because they haven't billed yet, they haven't received their bill yet for this quarter?
The way I would look at that is, for our purposes, it's the kind of the property that we're sending the bill to. Whether it gets paid by tenant or the owner in the rental situation, doesn't really matter. It's paid for that address and their service. I would say that is a contract negotiation piece inside the sale.
Just like an HOA fee.
Whoever is
So the only thing about it being like an HOA fee, because the water department does the same thing. And so if there's a bill owed at the water department, it goes on the HUD statement at closing. And so that means that closing attorneys would need to reach out to the city in the event a property is sold. And so that just needs to be made clear.
I had the same situation in my current house. It was a quarterly billing cycle, fraction of the time.
I mean, right, you just paid it. I heard of that. But not everybody.
You're saying our policy needs to be written somewhere.
Right, yeah.
So we need to add that. Yeah, definitely.
This late fee is only gonna be.
Because sometimes
Oh, sorry.
sometimes you're gonna have an investor that doesn't pay the trash bill, and maybe their trash can might get collected by the sanitation company. And so, especially if they're flipping a house or something, and so they'll have a service interruption fee too.
In that case, it may be a little different. That's a service activation. Service interruption would be like the same person's account.
Okay. I would outline those things.
So we need to go ahead and vote on that at the next meeting also, right? Approve it? Okay. All right. Any public comment? Nope. All right, executive session, we're not doing that today, are we? Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, good.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Second. All in favor? I think they're good.